Coming up on The Cut,
the 5-year-old detained by ICE was returned to his home.
NAU Greek leaders arrested in connection with hazing-related death.
And what to expect before the big game this weekend.
All of this and more coming up on The Cut.
The Cut starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Cut. I'm Leticia Natiello.
I'm Nicole Hendro.
Shocking discoveries continue to unfold as more of the Epstein files are released to the public. The files, which contain millions of email exchanges, images, and other documents shared between Jeffrey Epstein and his network of connections. The files contain descriptions of Epstein and his associates' sex crimes, suspicious donations to prominent institutions, and exchanges of sensitive information between parties. Who exactly is mentioned in the files? According to the Associated Press, names and titles vary from prominent politicians, such as former President Bill Clinton and current President Donald Trump, former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, Prince Andrew, and popular business titans such as Gates and Elon Musk. This is just to name a few. More and more victims are coming out to confirm the information on the files as these continue to surface. Many of the figures named in the files have either come out publicly to state they had no knowledge of Epstein's crimes, while others choose to remain silent.
5-year-old Liam Conejo Ramos and his father returned home on Sunday after being detained by immigration officers in Minnesota and held at a Texas ICE center. They were released following a judge's order that strongly criticized ICE under the Trump administration. Liam and his father were detained in Minneapolis on January 20th and taken to a detention facility in Dilley, Texas. The government says the boy's father illegally entered the U.S. from Ecuador in December 2024, but the family's lawyer says his father is allowed to stay in the country because of a pending asylum claim. Neighbors and school officials say that the boy was being used as, quote, bait when ICE officers told him to knock on the door of his house. DHS described the situation as a, quote, abject lie, end quote, and say his father left on foot, leaving the boy in a running car. Photos of Liam being detained by ICE while wearing a bunny hat and Spider-Man backpack sparked outrage against the administration's immigration enforcement in Minnesota. U.S. District Judge Barry said in his ruling that, quote, the case has its genesis in the ill-conceived and incompetently implemented government pursuit of daily deportation quotas, apparently even if it requires traumatizing children, end quote. Texas Representative Joaquin Castro visited the boy at the detention center and later escorted him home to Minnesota. Neighbors gathered outside the house where Liam was detained on Sunday to celebrate his return home.
The Today Show anchor's mother has been reported missing. Cut anchor Abby Cervenak has more. Abby?
Thank you, Leticia. As of today, February 4th, the mother of Nancy Guthrie, of co-anchor for Today, Savannah Guthrie, has been missing since Sunday, and an investigation is underway. On Sunday, February 1st, Nancy Guthrie, 84, mom of famous co-anchor of Today, Sarah Guthrie, was reported as missing. Authorities are searching across the state of Arizona for Miss Guthrie. According to Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos, Miss Guthrie was last seen on Saturday around 9:30 p.m. near her home in Tucson. During an interview with CNN on Monday, Nanos said he believed Miss Guthrie had been kidnapped based on the crime scene at her home. He noted that Miss Guthrie has limited mobility and takes a required medication every 24 hours, which she could die without it. Guthrie's family reported her as missing at noon on Sunday via a 911 call. They immediately started a search for her using a search and rescue team, a helicopter, dogs, and volunteers. In a missing persons post, Miss Guthrie was described to be 5 feet 5 inches tall with brown hair and blue eyes. Authorities made it clear this is not a dementia-related case. Authorities say the continued search for Miss Guthrie is urgent and active at this time. Officials are asking anyone who may have seen Miss Guthrie or has information about her whereabouts to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department immediately. Family members say they are hoping for her safe return as the investigation continues. For the Cut Network, I'm Abby Cervenak.
Thank you, Abby. We will keep you updated as the story progresses. In the last week of January, a large portion of the United States experienced a massive and unexpected snowstorm, which brought in snow, sleet, and freezing temperatures. The Associated Press reports that temperatures were predicted to hit such a low that President Donald Trump approved to issue emergency weather declarations to 12 different states. Meteorologist Allison Santorelli claims, quote, "It is a unique storm in the sense that it is so widespread." This deep freeze seems to have affected a large portion of the rural United States. In one case, a family in Louisville, Kentucky had to take an unorthodox approach to protecting their livestock. Earlier last week, the Sorrell family noticed that one of their cows had given birth. The family had noticed signs that the calf was starting to freeze in the barn. Having lost a baby calf to frostbite last year, the family acted quickly to ensure the safety of this newborn by placing it in the comfort of their own home. Only hours after being born, the calf was in the safety of the Sorrells' couch. When being asked if this was a big deal to the family, the mother responded, quote, "It's just a part of what you do." This is just one of many ways Americans across the country have been able to deal with extreme winter storms.
The Grand Canyon is expected to reopen after a devastating fire. Cut reporter Charlotte Reese has what's to come. Charlotte?
Thanks, Nicole. The North Rim at the Grand Canyon National Park is set to open this summer. After suffering extensive damage from the Dragon Bravo fire last summer, park officials are evaluating the winter weather before opening the North Rim on May 15th. The Dragon Bravo fire, caused by a bolt of lightning, started on July 4th to September 26th, when the Kaibab National Forest officials announced the fire was contained. In those 2 months, the fire burned over 145,000 acres and became the seventh largest wildfire in Arizona's history. Most trails on the North Rim and the Kaibab National Forest, closed during the fire, are slowly starting to open to the public. On February 4th, 8,000 acres of House Rock Valley and portions of the Nankoweap Saddle Mountain Trail were open to the public. On March 4th, park officials will open a part of the popular North Kaibab Trail. As officials open parts of the North Rim to the public, Superintendent Ed Kimball said visitor safety is still prioritized. Our goal is to provide access to the North Rim as quickly and responsibly as possible with an emphasis on safety. We are committed to keeping the public and our partners informed as we learn more about the impacts of winter weather and the Dragon Bravo fire, said Kimball. An update on the overall 2026 North Rim season will come no later than April 1st. For the Cut Network, I'm Charlotte Reese. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Charlotte. We are looking forward to the reopening. 3 fraternity members at Northern Arizona University were arrested following the death of a student at a Rush event. The members are facing a hazing charge in connection with the student's death. The Flagstaff Police Department says officers were called to a home on Saturday to help an unresponsive man. The 18-year-old was not breathing and was later pronounced dead at the scene. The man was only identified as a student at NAU. After executing search warrants and interviewing witnesses, police learned there was a Rush event for the Delta Tau Delta fraternity on Friday. They say many attendees were consuming alcohol, including the deceased male. The fraternity members who were arrested included fraternity Vice President Ryan Creech, new member educator Carter Eslick, and Treasurer Riley Cass. They appeared in court on Sunday and were granted bail on the condition that they do not speak to each other or any victims in the case. The university said in a statement on Saturday that the death was a, quote, devastating loss and that it is suspending the fraternity while it conducts an investigation. Hazing was made a criminal offense in 2022 in honor of Jack Kulolius, a freshman who died at Arizona State University. According to the law, if hazing results in death, it is a Class 4 felony.
The future of the Mexican gray wolf is uncertain. Cut reporter Deanna Nichapork has what this means. Deanna?
Thank you, Leticia. A House committee has advanced legislation that would strip federal protection from the Mexican gray wolf, setting up a high-stake conversation over the future of one of the endangered animals. A House committee has endorsed a bill that would remove the Mexican gray wolf from the endangered species list, a long-standing goal for critics who argue the animal poses a threat to people in Arizona and New Mexico. Introduced by Arizona Representative Paul Gosar, a Republican, the bill now heads to the House floor, receiving the House Natural Resources Committee vote. Gosar said wolves have caused financial strain by preying on cattle, livestock, and pets. Federal data, however, shows livestock attacks have been on downward trend since 2022. Michael Robinson, a senior conservation advocate at the Center for Biology Diversity, called the bill, quote, very bad news for the wolves, quote. He said that delisting would remove existing prohibitions on killing the wolves. Quote, "If it becomes law, it would almost certainly ensure the extinction of the Mexican wolf." Quote, "The wolves nearly went extinct before being placed under protection in 1976. Today's population, just under 300, falls short of recovery benchmarks." Quote, "Delisting of the Mexican gray wolf is a false solution," quote, said representatives at Alita Grijalva, who voted against the bill. Gassar's bill addresses the long-standing conflict between wolves and ranchers. However, wildlife biologists and conservation advocates warn that the measure would delist wolves before they have truly recovered, while also eliminating federal compensation for ranchers who lose livestock. For the Cut Network, I am Diana Nichibrook.
Thank you, Deanna. Now, Cut anchor Ileana James has everything entertainment from this past week.
Hello, and welcome back to the entertainment segment of The Cut. I'm your host today, Ileana James. Let's jump right into it. This past Sunday, the 68th Annual Grammys took place in Los Angeles, California, at the Crypto Arena. This show covered all exceptional music from August 31st, 2024 through August 30th, 2025. Rosé and Bruno Mars began the night by performing Apt. Other performance highlights include Justin Bieber performing Yukon in a stripped-down set and outfit, along with Man-Child by Sabrina Carpenter in a flight attendant aesthetic, not missing any details, including her outfit, set, and overhead speaker microphone. Harry Styles presented to Bad Bunny for Album of the Year. Bad Bunny was excited and emotional after winning his 6th Grammy Award. However, more importantly, after accepting his award, he stated, quote, "Before I say thanks to God, I'm going to say ice out. We're not savage, we're not animals, we're not aliens, we are humans, and we are Americans. I know it's tough to not hate these days, and I was thinking, sometimes we get contaminated. The hate gets more powerful with more hate. The only thing that is more powerful than hate is love. So please, we need to be different. If we fight, we have to do it with love. We don't hate them, we love our people. We love our family, and that's the way to do it, with love. Don't forget that, please." End quote. We'll report more on Bad Bunny after his performance at the Super Bowl 60 this coming weekend. An overarching theme of the Grammys this year was award winners speaking up about ICE. They expressed their thoughts and opinions with what is happening in the U.S. right now. Olivia Dean and Billie Eilish also both stood up for what they believed in, their acceptance speeches. Billie Eilish was nominated and awarded Song of the Year for her song Wildflower. When making her acceptance speech, she mentioned, quote, "F ICE." Olivia Dean was crowned Best New Artist and performed Man I Need, not only a viral TikTok song, but also reached #2 on Billboard's Hot 100. When accepting her award, she said, quote, "I guess I want to say I'm up here as a granddaughter of an immigrant. I wouldn't be here, I'm a product of bravery, and I think those people deserve to be celebrated. We're nothing without each other. Thank you so much," end quote. Now let's move into movie releases for 2026. The drama featuring Zendaya and Robert Pattinson releases April 3rd, 2026. The film is made by A24, a popular independent American entertainment company, as a romantic comedy drama written and directed by Christopher Borgoli. Also on Sunday, The Devil Wears Prada released their official sequel trailer featuring returning stars Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. The film will be in theaters May 1st of this year. The filming began in New York City this past June and will begin Miranda's fashion career in the midst of traditional fashion publishing decline. There are other speculations that the movie could also include plot points from the book sequel Revenge Wears Prada, The Devil Returns, which was released back in 2013. The novel took place about a decade after the original, where Andy and Emily worked together as top magazine editors when Miranda attempts to sneak back into Andy's life. Overall, I'm looking forward to watching all these new movies. That's all the entertainment I have for you this week. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Ileana James with the Cut Network.
Thank you, Ileana. Now Cut anchor Danny Elkry has what's going on down in the world of sports.
Thanks, Leticia. Welcome back to Sports on the Cut. Lots of things to talk about this week as we're approaching what might be the most important week of the year for American sports, Super Bowl week. This Sunday, we get to watch a recreation of the 2015 Super Bowl as the Seattle Seahawks will be facing the New England Patriots in the battle for the Lombardi. Today, we're covering everything you need to know before the game. The New England Patriots have surprised the nation this season as they improved their record from 4-13 last season to 14-3 currently. There are many reasons for their immediate comeback. The one I want to touch on specifically is their young quarterback and potential MVP, Drake May. May came into the 25-26 season with a not-so-appealing 15 touchdowns and 10 interceptions from the season prior. He quickly proved he was New England's guy, as this year he has scored 31 touchdowns while only throwing 8 interceptions. While you could give credit to new wide receiver signing Stephon Diggs, it's no doubt that May has drastically improved his game. Over on the Seattle side, this football season has been all JSN. Smith and Jigba has taken the league by storm, collecting almost 1,800 receiving yards and 10 touchdowns on the year. JSN solidified himself as the #1 receiver in the regular season and is predicted to make a significant impact on the championship game. The Seattle Seahawks are currently the favorites to win the Super Bowl. However, with quarterback Sam Darnold questionable due to an oblique injury, the Patriots' upset is still very possible. Drake May was also questionable due to a shoulder injury, but earlier this week it was reported that he has been throwing normally in practice and should be ready to suit up for the big game. While signs point positive for May, being potentially vulnerable to injury could be costly if not treated carefully. Whether you're a Seahawk fan, Patriot fan, football fan, or only watching for the Bad Bunny halftime performance, this game's looking to be a good one. Moving into a more Phoenix side of the sports world, the Suns play the Philadelphia 76ers tomorrow at home. The Suns have played the first half of the season decently with a current record of 31-20. Off-season signings such as Mark Williams and Dillon Brooks have elevated this roster greatly. Brooks has averaged 21 points per game, while Williams leads the team in rebounds per game, averaging 8. Suns wonderman Devin Booker continues to ball out, averaging 25 points and 6 assists per game this season. While they currently sit 7th in the Western Conference, expect the Phoenix Suns to find their rhythm and begin to put on a show in the NBA. That's all for this segment. Get some wings, get some ranch, get your friends, and enjoy Super Bowl Sunday. Make sure to tune into more sports news next week. For The Cut, I'm Danielle Corey.
Thanks, Danny. I can't wait for the game this weekend. Happy late Groundhog Day. This past Monday, thousands of spectators gathered in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania to anxiously receive Groundhog Phil's annual winter prediction. It is celebrated on February 2nd. It's supposed to be the midpoint between the shortest day in winter and the spring equinox. This tradition, named after Bill Murray's hit film, stems from Punxsutawney's German roots, where the length of winter used to be measured by a groundhog's hibernation period. Now the citizens of this city say that it has become a much more commercial holiday, with many of the spectators flocking, being spectics, trying to get a closer look at Phil. When asked about the significance of the holiday, Dan McLeany, a citizen of Punxsutawney, told AP that, quote, "We just like to remind people that there's a lot of serious things in the world right now, and this Groundhog Day is not one of them." It is said that if the groundhog is able to notice its shadow, there will be 6 more weeks of winter. If it does not, it'll be an early spring. This year, the members of Punxsutawney Club determined that Phil had in fact noticed his shadow. So don't put those winter coats away just yet. It looks like the verdict is in and we will be having quite the long winter. So how do you feel about this? Are you more of a winter, a spring, or a summer girl?
I would say I'm definitely a summer girl, but I mean, with this Arizona weather, it's already feeling like summer here, so.
Well, I'll tell you this, I think that Phil's prediction is wrong because we've been having some 80-degree days these last couple weeks, so I personally predict an early spring.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, and that's all we have for The Cut Network this week. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at The Cut Network. Have a nice night.